car. That's unusual because that car would normally run with ABS. So, yeah, just thinking why that would be. Maybe it's got a wheel speed problem, a wheel speed monitoring problem.
Well, half distance here at, or slightly past half distance here at Okayama. Round one of the 2018 Super GT season here at Okayama, and there is the 21 wonky sticker taking a wonky route on cold tyres. No tyre warmers in this series.
What we're looking at, yes, he's locking again. It looks like he's locking that right rear tyre. So that was the rear corner that was hit so hard by the Prius earlier. And I think he's got a problem where he might be just locking one wheel, and any form of stability intrusion like that would be terrible for the driver. He's going to have to pit.
I've not driven one of the current spec R8s, Rob. I'm not sure if you have or not. But is that a driver not pressing a button properly?
It would be some sort of failure if it's locked. If he's got ABS on three wheels but not on the right rear, that would be something that would be a mechanical sensor that's been damaged.
Key graphic on your screen right now is the running order in GT300. The blue blobs with a number 1 on it is how many times they've been to the pit. The number next to that is the lap they pitted on. So you can kind of ignore the top 6 cars and Nut car in 9th, but not entirely, because sometimes some of these cars that go long, and keep an eye on the Toyota Mark X for that, can work their way up the field suddenly by going long and making advantage from pitting just at the right moment.
Yes. D-Station Porsche moves down the inside of the BMW there. The D-Station Porsche relatively strong in pre-season testing. I sort of slightly better hopes for the Porsche around here. This track with its tight infield sections really suits the rear engine layout of that car.
Slightly beyond half distance here at Okayama for round one of Super GT, the 2018 season here on Nismo TV. If you like it, hit subscribe, and people have a nice thing. Tell us in the comments. We're on the chat. We're talking to you as the 24-car Forum Engineering is in for its proper pit stop this time. It's cloudy at Okayama. It's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 12 degrees centigrade. 40% chance of rain from this point on, the weather station is telling us. 39% humidity and an 11 mile per hour wind. What's that in kph, please?
18.
There you go. The Motul Ortec GTR has also made its scheduled stop. Drive-through penalty for a jump start early in the race. Still not quite sure what the issue was for the Forum Engineering car. There's the Subaru BRZ still smoking away, but has got in front of the wonky sticker car.
The wonky sticker car now has got his tyres up to temperature, and perhaps he's finding that issue with that locking tyre being less than the tyres are up to working temperature. These slicks designed to work from about 65 degrees onwards, and with an air temperature of only sort of 11 or 12, it's going to take a couple of laps at least to get to the required temperature.
Now just look at the gap between the leading GT500 car, you see it just at the top of the screen, and this Arta NSX in 6th position. That's because they're out of sequence on laps. These two cars you're seeing battling right now for 6th and 7th position are a lap down, because there's the Keeper Tom's Lexus in front. That's because the Keeper Tom's car hasn't pitted yet.
He's yet to make his stop.
So we'll see how they filter back out. There is the Raybrig number 100 NSX Honda, the K-Hin just behind it. That's Jensen Button's car. The question came in on the chat or here on YouTube. Where is Jensen Button? He's in the back of the garage having a cup of tea, I believe.
Yeah, Chris Bunker will have made him a nice brew by now, hopefully. So, yeah, morning to Chris if you're listening.
So, questions coming in. We like your questions on the chat.
Yeah, the GT300 cars. There is Chris.
And there is Jensen.
White no sugar. Morning. We were just discussing whether the GT300 cars have ABS and traction control, and yes, they do. The FIA spec cars enjoying quite a lot of driver aids as the NSXs run side by side at hairpin at turn 5.
And they hit each other. Now, when drivers from the same manufacturer hit each other sometimes, they do get penalties from that manufacturer. And that looks like somebody might there get a telling off from Honda. The same car manufacturers aren't supposed to hit each other.
That's the kind of golden rule. Brilliant. Okay, so now we see Cassidy handing over to Hirakawa.
This is a key moment for the race.
In my pre-season research, I was writing down to the little key facts about the boys, and I'm like, boys, one is 23 and one is 24 years old. Middle age has struck, Sam, and I haven't even realised it. You know, I'm looking at drivers now who are in their very early 20s who have already made the successful transition across from single-seaters into GT cars, and Ryo Hirakawa here really working his tyres hard, coming out of the pits to try and generate that much-needed temperature and pressure.
Do you think that was what he was doing? Because I just saw that. I was thinking the way he was moving, it looked more like, are my wheels on properly?
Yeah, just having a little feel for it just as he came down into the first corner.
I was just worrying he might be having a Roman Grosjean Haas moment.
Yeah, possibly. I saw some lovely footage of Roman consoling the tyre man, and it was like, yeah, we all race together, and sometimes the driver makes mistakes, sometimes the pit crew makes mistakes. So it was nice to see the sort of behind-the-scenes clip, if you like.
You won't see too much behind-the-scenes clippery here on Nismo TV because the racing action is a bit too good. So
I tell you what, I would love to see if we could wangle the powers that be to give us some more onboard footage. That would just be terrific. Even if it was just for the first 2 or 3 laps after a race start, that would be great to see.
Now, there are onboard cameras on most of these cars, and we do get some of that footage, but after the fact, we don't get so much of it in the race. We were promised it, but we didn't really. We got the onboard from the safety car once, and that was about it.
Another reason to check back to the Nismo YouTube channel and have a look at some of the films that we produce sort of after the event, the highlights reels. We can cut in a bit of onboard footage. I know we were watching earlier, Sam, the lap of Fuji. That's going to be coming up next on our calendar, racing at Fuji on the 3rd and 4th of May.
And that's one of the best things we get to do on Nismo TV. At the end of each year, there's something called the Nismo Festival. It takes place at Fuji Speedway. And not only we get to talk about these cars on track, we get to play with them. They're the Wacos LC500 battling with the Keeper Tom's Red Bull LC500. And this is the mid-race period where the strategy is coming into play. So Oshima there, he's taken over. It's taken over from Felix Rosenquist, we haven't really spoken about. And there is more trouble for wonky sticker number 21 Audi R8. Tomita is not having a good time of it.
Wonky rear bumper now as well. So I think that contact earlier with the Prius has damaged something that's now becoming terminal.
Karma. That's what happens when you don't put a straight sticker on a car. It doesn't sound like it's got gears, does it?
Yeah,
it sounds like he can't get it into gear, yeah.
I think that there's been something wrong with the upright. That was manifested by a wheel speed sensor issue, and now the drive shaft's broken. So that earlier contact, forcing the unfortunate retirement of the not-at-all factory Audi R8. Your joke.
Now we have 2 slightly different variants of the GT86 mother chassis car battling here. The yellow car behind. Just have a look at the bonnet vents on that, and if you can make it out, it's quite hard to see on the yellow. They're completely different to the bonnet vents on the Hoppy, the number 25 car, because both are prepared slightly differently, and these cars don't have to be the exact same spec to one another. There is development in the GT.
I was just going to say we saw an overtake on the front straight under a yellow flag there.
I think we did.
For the Audi.
You're right. Oh.
It wasn't for position, it was only
still an overtake.
A lapping position.
And I think that was 2 overtakes actually. It was Zensarumo and no, who's that? That's a Lamborghini, isn't it?
No, I think it's the Motul-sponsored NSX.
Well, that's irrelevant.
I'd like a replay of the overtake and the yellow, to be honest.
I'm going to use my private replay functionality.
Because the yellow flag will have been out for quite some time for the stricken Audi.
Yes, it has, yeah, and there was definite yellows there. So, well, you watch what's going on track in real time. Oh, there's the Audi getting stricken. I'm too far back. We will have a look. There's the Mark X Toyota. Rear side of that. It's still going. Unusual for that.
Lamborghinis haven't broken down yet either.
Also unusual. No fire.
So there's the Motul NSX leaving the pit box. Looks like they've just parked the Audi there. Even though the headlights are still on, they've withdrawn the yellow flag. So the yellow flag that we're looking for on the replay here. There was definitely a couple of passes right past that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, without a doubt, there was a pass under yellow there.
Morally hazardous to me, Sam. Morally hazardous indeed. We'll have to wait and see what race control make of it.
I'm just watching it again to see if there were 2 passes. So it looks to me like the number 1 Denso Lexus. He makes an overtake, as does the Zensarumo makes an overtake on a GT300 car. And the Zent backs off, but yeah, that is a definite overtake under yellow flag for the number 1 and arguable for the Zensarumo, so I think we will see some moral hazard penalties applied.
Those two 86s still together, even though they've been lapped and the GT500 cars have moved on. The Hoppy car just heads the up garage, yellow derivative car.
Some change in the technical partnerships behind these cars. Dome running one of the cars. Now directly, Dome were responsible for the design of this car initially, but the team have taken some of the responsibility on themselves to modify and develop the car. Chassis still come out of Dome's facility in Maibara. Near the bullet train line, just outside Kyoto. But getting into this rather toasty looking BMW is Sean Walkinshaw.
Sean Walkinshaw? Yeah. If you go to the English translation from the Super GT website, some of the names have been translated phonetically, and Richard Lyons was particularly memorable for his translation, and Sean Walkinshaw was another one. So Sean enjoying his second full season of Super GT and GT300 now.
It's a good battle, but I wish the yellow car would switch its headlights on.
Hunting always puts me in the mood.
Yellow car with yellow lights. Yeah. Just a completely yellow look.
The Up Garage team is no longer part of the racing project Bando, I believe. They've gone their own way. Lots of team changes this year in Super GT.
I quite like that retro yellow colour scheme, you know. The Hoppy car's really modern and clearly come out of the design studio, where the Up Garage just looked a bit more 1980s.
I think it's cool, but the Up Garage changed their livery all the time, so it won't stay for the season. Something we have seen on track are the new spec GTR GT3s. They have performed reasonably well, but it seems it's had a relatively unlucky day, I would call it.
Yeah, maybe a little unlucky so far, but you know, on the flip side of that coin, Sam, if you arrive at the first race of the season and destroy everybody on day 1, you're just going to get balanced and performance down the sight.
Exactly. One of the cars that is doing a strategy that we've seen from the Lotus, but maybe not from other series, is the Toyota Mark X. Now, the Saitama Toyopet team, this car is run by a bunch of guys who are just everyday garage mechanics who'll do the service in on whatever time it takes to the Saitama dealerships, Toyota dealerships in Japan. And this car they've built themselves, they run it themselves. They've got, tomorrow they'll be back working on, whatever, Mark X. Now the Mark X is only available in Japan. I think in Thailand it might be available under a different name. It's a sort of a special, dealer special car made by Toyota. It's quite a cool looking thing. In road trim, in GT300 trim, it's certainly not the prettiest car. There's Hatsune Miku looking rather more urban than she did last year. The team is up to 2nd position because they've yet to stop 51 laps on the board. They're going super long, going to move up the grid, move up the field because of that, and of all the shenanigans going on amongst this lot, frankly.
As I suggested earlier, Marco Mappelli looking particularly racy in the 88 Lamborghini as well. Marco, now a factory driver for Lamborghini, sort of was in and around European racing for quite a while, raced Ferraris. I raced against him for a while as well, and he's found his way onto the Lamborghini test roster. There was quite a controversial film that came out of him running around the Nürburgring last year in a road Lamborghini, looking suspiciously like it might have been speeded up a fraction in a couple of sections. So Marco finding himself now in a Lamborghini race seat and looking to make up some of the time his teammate lost earlier.
Well, this car hasn't been speeded up so much because Hatsune Miku is right in front of him. The Zero car, last year's GT300 champions, raced in the Spa 24 hours.
I was just thinking, I wonder if they're coming back to Europe this year to do the same, or whether that was a one-off.
Well, they're keeping the Twitter feed going in English, so it does look like they're going to be doing some more international races with the Hatsune Miku team. Didn't have the best Spa 24 hours. Miku sort of disappeared quite quickly and ended up just being a thought.
Yeah, it was amazing to have them there, though, and they brought such a presence to the paddock, and their media following Sam in Japan is massive.
Absolutely. Actually, the Miku car is one of the... It's called Itasha. This style of livery on the race car, the cartoons, if you like, the sort of colouring in, though. If I call it cartoons, I get told off. Hatsune Miku is a Vocaloid. If you don't know what that is, Google it. It's just weird. And
the race leader coming around to put a lap on the Zero Mercedes. So the K-Hit NSX leading, making his way past the car you've just been talking about.
But Hatsune Miku is actually a big celebrity, not just in Japan, but anybody into the J-culture scene, and that car is Itasha, the same. Itasha means painfully embarrassing. Yeah, I wasn't going to say it, but yes. The Itasha commentary. No, but it is a style of car styling, aftermarket car styling, and people have their cars covered in these anime characters and Vocaloids, and you have Itasha livery. There used to be a few more in Super GT, but unfortunately Hatsune Miku is the only Itasha car at the moment. I'd like to see some more Itasha liveries, and I also think a Hatsune Miku F1 car would be great. Oh, now that was quite aggressive there from the number 3 car, sports-sponsored GTR GT500, the BMAX engineering car. Chio at the wheel of that.
I was just thinking whether that might have been a move to the pit lane, or a curious defensive manoeuvre, an aggressive defensive manoeuvre, but no, yeah, it was the latter. He wasn't moving to take a pit road at all.
Well, moves going on all the way around this 3.7 kilometre Okayama track. Previously by a number of different names. Aida?
Yeah, TI Aida was how I remembered it when I was kind of in and around Japanese GT racing at the time, and yeah, it was known as the Tanaka International Circuit when it was first opened, and almost was like an Ascari resort type venue, so just
it had an art gallery, didn't it?
Yeah, for wealthy individuals to come and just smoke their road cars around and have like a weekend away with the family, and yeah, first hosted motor racing in sort of early 1990s, and then the Pacific Grand Prix came here in 94 and 95. There's Chio's teammate, Motoyama-san.
He's sitting looking pensive. Good word for that.
Yeah, very pensive, and again another name. Experience brings pace and experience to the championship and the team.
Well, the fact this 86 on 86 battle has become the battle for the lead tells us that the Mark X has now finally stopped. Not seen by our cameras. So we now get a slightly more realistic view of the order of things. And I have to say, the Up Garage 86 has had a really good, slightly anonymous first half of the race. But moving right up through the field, it's gone very nicely to that yellow and blue GT86.
I'm going to test your Japanese racing driver knowledge and ask, are the Kobayashis, they're not,
I don't think they are.
No, okay. I thought that it might be related to Kamui.
No, Kamui Kobayashi is not in this. He is in this race.
Yes.
Yes, that's right, yeah. I got confused because they've had a shuffle round in that. Oh, very big moment there. Actually, quite a few moments now happening to Sean Walkinshaw in the BMW as he bats his way through the field. But the number 1 Lexus LC is really trying hard, but there's some really aggressive driving actually coming from the same Mercedes there, actually, rather than Walkinshaw.
Yeah, the Mercedes just finding itself in the wrong place at the wrong time at three or four consecutive corners, and that has really held up Cassidy's teammate.
We'll have a look at the gap.
Sorry.
The drivers have swapped around somewhat. We're so used to the drivers over the last couple of seasons, and have swapped them all around. We are going to make mistakes on that. Apologise for that in advance. 814 of you have clicked the like button. There's more than 3,000 of you watching, so come on, Bob. Yeah. Press the like button. We can get to over 1,000. Because you know, if we go to 1,000, get over 1,000, something good will happen to a Nissan. That's the way it works here.
Jensen Button's teammate is second now, so.
And it's closing the position down onto actually, quite frankly, Button didn't have a brilliant stint, but it's all coming together for his team car, Yamamoto at the wheel, and that gap is coming right down. That's what I said earlier. We'll look at those gaps as it comes up on the screen. Now, I saw this battle was coming down. And,
yeah, when I first spotted it, the gap was 7 seconds. It went to 5, and has been coming down about half a second a lap. As we see Benson Jutton chatting with his team manager on the pit wall.
Well, Benson Jutton, I think, was talking about the tyres and how it feels, and the tyres are beginning will go away in the latter part of the stick. Lap 56 of 82. Long way to go in this race still, and there's a lot that will still happen. And at tyre management and tyre life, you see the first and second in both classes together on the track there. You will see the whole field start to call senior again. And now we've got 1,000 likes. Thank you very much for that. That was easy. Let's see if we get to see 1,000.
Starting to stagnate a little bit in terms of the race. We're coming off the end of the pit stop cycle, and I just found myself thinking we haven't had a full course yellow.
No, we haven't either, because they've introduced this new SUI, the sort of virtual safety car, if you like, system, as Hirakawa gets the move done finally on the Waco start. Does the Waco start come back in? Yes, he does.
But it doesn't stick. It doesn't stick. Coming down into Revolver, there we see the championship winners of last year moving up onto the bottom step of the podium, so up into third.
And that is a very neat, sensible move. No bumping into each other there. Now, Vic Cassidy gets on the podium. We'll have to talk about his champagne ability, or sparkling soccer.
Lack of.
Yeah. But it is at the moment looking very good for the two Hondas up front. 1.2 seconds separating the two NSXs at the front. The GTRs have just been... We still don't really know what happened to the number 24 Forum Engineering car, why it made that early pit stop, but they must be really cursing. That debatable jump start from the 23, I don't think there was a jump start. They'd be walking away with the race right now.
Yeah, they would, and yeah, I'm looking forward to watching the start back to see where and how that happened, because we certainly didn't spot anything at all that looked like a jump start.
We have the technology. Benson Jutton is now a hashtag. Okay, hashtag Benson Jutton. He's Benson Jutton is going to be very happy if he finishes. If the race finishes like this, I think Benson Jutton will be extremely happy.
Yeah, and it will be good for the series as well. It will bring in a lot of interest from European race fans, from Formula One race fans. Imagine if you're watching Super GT South for the first time today, coming from watching a relatively small grid of Formula One cars circulate around, not overtaking each other for an hour and a half. It's just, you're going to be blown away by this. Multi-class racing, high-quality drives, amazing venue. Look, crowds, real caters, real people.
Real motor racing brought to you in English, exclusively on Nismo TV.
Live.
Yeah, and on demand. You can follow this through. You can go back and look at a whole bunch of previous races. We'll take a look at the cars. We'll take a look at. We'll get you inside in a way that no other outlet is able to do. We go inside the world of Nismo. We look at the cars, the history. There's some lovely history videos coming up. I think we still haven't done some of them. I think there's still some really good ones that we've put together that you're going to see in the coming weeks about the history, some of the great drivers in Nissan's history. And if there's things you want us to make videos about, let us know. We'll go and make them for you.
Yeah, we have the comments up here in the studio in the Nismo bunker, so if you want to ask us any questions, feel free to fire them over.
Would never the fuck shut up.
As Rob watches the track, I'm just trying to watch back the start to see if we can actually work out really if there was a jump start. I don't really think there was.
It was certainly a controversial call, and it will have been something that will only be visible on the timing screens, I think, not really to the naked eye. And you know, The start looked a little messy. You know, it might have been a touch fast, but you know, it's the pole man's job to control the speed. And yeah, Quintarelli wasn't on pole; he was tucked back in the grid. He was in the grid. He was
way back, 56,
fourth row.
We have the ability to play live restarts here. I did not see a jump start there for the number 23 car. I just watched it again. One of the things you'll be able to do if you're watching this on YouTube, on Nismo TV, you can wind back and play the replays as you want, and then skip back to the real time. The lovely functionality of YouTube there, but I've just watched the start again. You see what you think. Let us know in the comments if you think you saw a jump start from Ronnie Quintarelli. I don't think I did.
No, it's very controversial. It's upset the natural ebb and flow of the race a little bit. And given the Hondas an unfortunately easy time at the head of the field, the Cahin car, as it did in pre-season testing now, leads the way.
A request has come in for Nismo TV as we see the Motul Autech GTR battling the VMAX Engineering Run Craft Sports GTR with the Mintzilla, the Dijon Racing GTR there as well as the this GTR back there altogether. A request has come in for Ronnie Quintarelli, Life in Japan, like we did Jan's Life in Japan. That's a really good idea. There is a good video already on Nismo TV. Ronnie Quintarelli, the 23andMe. And it's worth watching that. Ronnie talks about his affection for that red car and how he likes to drive it with Suzuki Matsuda, who is behind the wheel at the moment. But here in GT300, with 22 laps to go, the Hoppy and the Up Garage, Matsui and Kobayashi battling, and it's all a bit line astern at the moment. There's Team Tsuya Engineering, number 25, the guys behind that number 25, Hoppy, pink and Sakura coloured, I think I'll call it. It's stabilised a little bit there. I think it's hanging around at about 1.2 seconds. It's got to that point where they're just thinking about their tyres, 22 laps to go. When you've attempted to make, I mean, getting past now doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be in front at the end.
Great third team preferred squad, because for a long time I remember it as being the kind of motor sponsor.
Oh, it absolutely is. I mean, that's the Mugen car. That's absolutely the sort of works, the most works of the works cars. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Whilst they get given equal equipment, and it sometimes it's down to who gets the engine upgrades first. So obviously the Nissan company number 23 gets the best of everything straight away, and then the others get it as well. But you know that the Nissan Cup 23 is the works car, and in Toyota I think it's the number one, the high lining car. The Kobayashi car is the works car there. GT300, there officially are no works cars apart from the Subaru, which is very definitely works car. Work that one out.
86 is as close as we've seen them now. Down through the Sterling Moss S's, coming down into Atwood Corner. Just has a little look, and then the radius of Atwood decreases as the circuit rises up out onto the back straight. Long back straight, initially uphill, now downhill as the 500 runners move by on the driver's right.
GTR, and GTR. They can almost line up for the show photo. Oh, nearly got into the Hoppy car, nearly got it back into the number 3, and that's given the, well not quite, because of the presence of the Forum Engineering car, that nearly gave the Up Garage car a run at the Hoppy car.
Yeah, it just shows the ebb and flow of lapping and being lapped as we see the GT86s now side by side.
This is for the lead in GT300, and that was a very good move from the Up Garage car. Brilliant. Going defensive into the corner, that was some smart driving there.
He's going to have to be careful of the Zensarumo car, and yeah, he's made it through turn 11, and he's got a little gap now onto the front straight, so yeah, change for the lead. Kobayashi, sure he's not related. Spitting image of the man who's not his brother.
I don't think they are.
Look at that this week, but no, I can take your word for it, but there's certain likeness between him and another Kobayashi Kamui. Yeah, great move. And look at that. He's gone from no gap at all in second to 5 or 6 car lengths coming down where we were just watching a moment ago.
There is the race leader, number 17, K-Hin NSX, and look behind it. There it is, the Raybrig NSX, number 100. Now I wonder, because they are all Honda in the Honda camp, I wonder if there might be team orders going out to say
that was the reason my earlier question is there a preferred squad, because it certainly looks like the gap was aggressively being brought down, and now it isn't.
In terms of the headlines, I think they Honda would very much like to say a certain bloke from the southwest won his first Super GT race, his second GT for the first time. His opening stint wasn't stellar.
No, he did a good job to keep his nose clean through traffic. Didn't make any mistakes. Didn't look rusty, which he could have done. But yeah, by no means was he subtly outstanding like Nick Cassidy was, for example. Nick made his way very carefully for a 9th on the grid to the lead.
Big sideways moment there
That was
Kamui. Kamui
Kobayashi.
And that's Daiki Sasaki behind him. Kamui getting very aggressive as he's reputed to do.
Yeah, that looked a little spicy. You know, you're allowed to make one change of direction, and he made that one change, but came a long way out towards the pit road there.
Kamui Kobayashi, back in the day, had a bit of a reputation for going wheel to wheel, Jensen Button. I remember in Sauber running for banging wheels around Suzuka and various other tracks. I was hoping to rekindle that battle, but not today. Interesting to see the debut race for the new spec Nissan GTR GT3 in Japan, at least, is well, it started out very well. Kobayashi makes another mistake there.
Just a slight lock of there coming down into the hairpin, and that gives Jan Varda for his teammate. Sasaki chance to just close up a little bit.
This is the battle for 3rd place in GT300. There you go. Information that
is not related to Kamui.
That was a failed fist bump there.
Yeah, but it helped that we were both watching the telly.
Yeah, we were watching racing. Battle for 3rd here. Gamu versus
I'm not just a hot
in the
smash.
Porsche.
I can also fix helicopters.
And I think they won't stay this way around for very long. But look behind them, there's another one of those 86s on its way. There it is, the back car. But that is not for position. I was mentioning the GTR GT3, the new spec, the Gainer, number 11. He's running in 5th position, 19 seconds, 20 seconds now off the lead.
It was very much in qualifying the FIA GT3 cars that held the advantage in GT3, but in the race it's flipped back to the more traditional Japanese GT cars.
But the thing is, between those two leading cars, you can actually, it's a good get. Those two cars are very good to place what's the difference. There's lots of little aerodynamic differences between the car in 1st and the car in 2nd, which aren't screwed at all.
You know what I like about you? You don't need to go blathering on about nothing every 15 minutes. My ex, her senior, would never the fuck shut up.
Still to come here, Okayama. 65 laps completed. We're here on Nismo TV. I'm Sam Collins. This is Rob Barr. Don't forget, if you want some more of this Super GT action, don't forget to like, subscribe, let us know what you want to see on the whole Nismo TV channel. Lots of special content coming up. The whole Nissan Intelligent Mobility operation is going to come into full swing with the Formula E campaign getting underway later this year, so do stay tuned and subscribe for that. There's some really special content coming up for that. A little bit is already on the screen. You can see a few teaser videos, but Nissan have got some really special stuff lined up for the Formula E season.
If you're here for the first time, we really hope you're enjoying this multi-class Japanese GT race, the Super GT series from Okayama International Circuit. The two classes running round, the GT300 we're watching now, the yellow headlights, they're the slightly slower cars, the faster cars, the GT500 cars running with white headlight lenses, big grid of cars and quality racing up and down the field. The Leon sponsored Mercedes still leads the Porsche, so this is where the Porsche have the advantage, and now coming on to the back straight. good traction, the engine over the rear wheels, and it's a reasonable tow from the Mercedes. It's cut away at the wrong time there. Oh no, here we go. So coming down the end of the back straight into turn 5. The Porsche looks around the outside. Can he find the long way round? Almost, but not quite.
Lots more action coming up on track. Not just here at Okayama, but around the world, of course. You have the Blancpain series coming up, and of course British GT with the RJN Nissan GTR GT3s, one of each, old and new specs. That'll be interesting to see how they get on. Both of them painted red, so it's red car versus red car there. And I expect to see quite a lot from that team this year.
Yeah, some of the circuits they go to really suiting the GTR in the British GT series, and good to have 2 GTRs in the field this year. Continuing between the Mercedes and the Porsche, with the 86 there holding a watching brief in the background.
And just looking at your tweets with hashtag Benson Jutton. Don't forget though, on Twitter @Nismo. That is a brilliant channel to follow. There's all sorts of wonderfulness on that. Of course, we don't just have to say that, but it's true. There is actually really good stuff on that Twitter feed.
Yeah, there's some sort of really insightful behind-the-scenes footage, great stuff. Remember when I was racing at the Spa 24 Hours, Sam, I'd see you rushing around with Louis and the camera crew, sort of getting a real insight into the workings of how this complex machine that is a GT racing team works, and
how to build a Nissan GTR GT3 in 1 month from scratch. That was impressive. You can see all of these videos we're talking about elsewhere on Nismo TV. Lots of great content there. I mean, I don't know how long it would. I wonder how long it would take to watch everything on Nismo TV. To binge watch the whole way through Nismo TV. There's got to be a few weeks worth there, isn't there now? Yeah, more. Yeah, we think a few months worth perhaps of amazing content.
Sven Muller in this green Porsche is now starting to get frustrated, visibly frustrated. He's making moves to position the Porsche in areas where you wouldn't expect, and that is giving the chance for the little 86 to close up behind.
But that car's a lap down there, Rob. So I mean that tells you the Mac 86 isn't a super competitive car generally, and to have it right on the back there. Well, here is the race leader in the GT500. See the exhaust blowing there. And just in the distance is the 100, but he's been very aggressive to stay ahead, with still some way to go in this race. 68 laps. This is lap 68, 82 laps in this race. Then we've got the amazing podium ceremonies. If you've never watched Super GT, stay tuned for the podium. I can't remember what you get here. You definitely don't get wood.
You get a barrel of something.
Possibly.
It's not a basket of rice. It could be a barrel of something.
And if you don't know what we're talking about, you just have to stay tuned at the end of the race. The 100 Grade Brick NSX there on screen. Great crackle from the exhaust of these GT500 cars. You can tell a GT500 car apart, you can tell a Honda apart from a Toyota, apart from a Nissan, just by listening to them. They all sound extremely different. Let's see if we can listen to that.
Got a little crackle of the anti-lag as he came off the throttle there, but yeah, the explosive ignition cut as they go up through the gears is what sounds incredibly aggressive.
A question just came in on the chat. Sorry, I didn't see who it was from, but the question was, if we could see any GT3 car on this grid that isn't here currently, what would you put on? I'd say Morgan. We did have a Ferrari last year.
We had a Ferrari last year. It sort of circulated
and then
disappointingly.
Mario Nizza having that huge accident in it.
Perhaps one of the new spec Bentleys. That would be a welcome addition as we see the right on cue, the older spec Bentley.
It was Vince Libera who asked which car it was. Thanks for that question. Keep those questions coming in. We do like them. Everyone's still talking about Benson Jutton. I wonder if we get the name changed to the side of the car. Probably not.
I'm sure it won't have been the first time.
There is that battle. That gap is coming down now between first and second. The 100 is beginning to work its way into the gap. That's what he's thinking as well.
They're both looking quite aggressive as they make their way up. I saw that as well. As they make their way through traffic, lots of flashing of headlights, lots of relatively late lunges, and they've got a relatively comfortable cushion now at the head of the field. You can see that gap behind. Lots of clear air behind in terms of GT 500 runners.
Now, a question just come in on the chat from Iron Daffodil there, because the Wed Sport has a slightly indecisive moment trying to get past or not get past the number 3 GTR. A question just came in from Iron Daffodil there, Rob, on the chat, Rob. What do the flashing headlights mean?
Their encouragement to be seen. Yeah, the drivers have a facility on the steering wheel to press a button, and a single press of the button normally equates to somewhere between 3 to 7 forward flashes of the headlights, and they just press the button just to simply flash the lights to let the other drivers know they're there.
Yeah, it's basically, get out of the way, I'm coming
through.
Or even if they're like, I want to come through. No, you're not coming through. It's a lovely, some lovely farts of engine there. And I think that was a Lexus making that noise. So there we go. We're looking at the Battle of Chio there, as the number 23, driven by Sugio Matsuda there, is on the tail of Izawa-san. Izawa is that same Izawa that was racing in GP2 as it then was.
Yep.
A couple of seasons ago. He's now switched back over to Super GT and is being given a lesson on how to race by an Italian. Wonderful bit of racing there.
Matsuda down the inside and up the position, and he's come from almost the back of the field back up to 5th. You've got to think, where would he have been if they hadn't got that unsporting penalty for the jump start?
Just have a listen to this. I don't know if we can turn up the volume on the ambient.
Come back to our airfield. We got a bunch in the hangar.
Turbocharged cars with small engines. Yeah, but that technology in these engines it's extremely similar to the technology in Formula 1 engines. It's just these are 4-cylinders and Formula 1 is V6s. The only big difference is these cars don't have the MGU-H or the MGU-K that doesn't make a difference to the sound. It's just, why does Formula 1 sound like this?
They would just sound amazing. The crackle of what is in essence anti-lag, and the exhaust and induction noise, it just works.
I love that sound of the anti-lag. But this battle here at the front, I think it's going out. But this is a tyre battle. 10 laps to go. Who's managing their tyres the best? I think this is done. I don't think the Ray Brick tyres have gone off. I think Matsuda is just on the planet in terms of continuing. Look, there you go. He's losing tyre temperature.
Wow, I didn't expect that. I thought with the relatively bright conditions and the sun being out, we would have had enough track temperature. You can see the car is casting shadows on the road surface, so the sun is coming through the clouds. I thought we would have had enough temperature to maintain working temperature. Tyre, but obviously not. And, Matsuda has disappeared from this battle where he overtook the NSX, and now the Forum Engineering car looking around the outside of the Arta NSX.
The Nissan's beginning to get the tyres working.
Yep.
With just over 10 laps to go here at Okayama, round 1 of Super GT. Keihin NSX leading the race by 1.3 seconds from the Raybrig NSX, number 100. Keeper Tom's LC500 in 3rd, but will it stay like that? Late stop here for the Subaru in one of the competitive runners in GT300. Now, well, there's some shouting there. Switching tyres, new set of Dunlops going on, but only on the rear.
No, new set all round.
Well, that's not scheduled, is it? There is the GT300 field. The two GT86s now separated by 5.1 seconds. That's down to tyres. The Leon AMG Mercedes is in third. And is that trouble for the 17, or was it just a funny angle?
No,
it's damage. There's big damage on the front of the race leader. Well, how's he got that?
Now, is that from his car?
No, that is damage. That's the front. That is a bit of his front bodywork that's come apart.
Is it a dive plane? It looks like a dive plane with the sort of front aerodynamics.
I think it's a bit of the internal ducting. Now, is it from his car? Because he's got his dive planes. You can see them, two on each side. Canards, as they like to call them in Japan.
What do they call them in France?
Ducks.
Well, I was hoping you'd take that.
Now, 9 laps to go. This is really playing out quite nicely for the finish. So if you thought Super GT it doesn't let you finish. Now,
it's somebody else's dive plane or a canard.
I wonder if it's a strike from a diffuser. Right up the chuff of that.
It could be, yeah.
But he's lost time. He has lost time.
And if it's just caught in the debris fence at the very, very front, the front line of protection of the car, they have like a debris fence to stop missiles going through the radiators. If it's caught there and it hasn't gone any further, he'll be okay. But what we're looking for now is a visible loss of performance and perhaps some steam or smoke, perhaps.
I'm trying to remember what is called by those central ducts on the Honda, and I think the turbo inlet is located somewhere around there on this car. Even though it's a mid-engine car, the combustion air enters from the front of the car and feeds right through the car, not through those ducts inside. That's for the intercooler.
Even if it hasn't punctured the radiator, it's going to be disturbing the airflow into a crucial part of the car, be it air intake, brake cooling. It's going to be upsetting what is a very, very carefully structured aero balance at the front there.
Disappointingly, I didn't bring my photo archive with me today, so I can't actually go and look under the body. I have a lot of photos of these cars with the bodywork off, and I normally have the photos with me just in case this situation comes up, and I say, well, what's down there? And I go and have a look at the photo, and I can tell you exactly what's on the car. Unfortunately, I don't have those photos with me today. And no real reason I didn't. I just didn't pick them up walking out of the house. Sorry. But yeah, that is... it's clearly... because he lost a chunk of time there. So we'll see how that pans out. Championship points are going to be thought about at this point as well. Look how much time the Hoppy 86 now has lost. He's going to struggle to get on the podium now.
Far from settled in GT300, Sam. They're closing down on that little Hoppy 86. The mid-section of the race seemed to really suit the lighter, more nimble GT300 cars, but the bigger FIA spec GT3 cars now coming into their own with only 8 laps to go now.
Question coming in from Sunset A. Don't know where it comes, Sunset B or C, but Sunset A. Asks if we could have these GT500 cars in any other endurance race outside of Super GT, where would you like to see them? For me, the answer is really simple: Le Mans.
Yeah. Can you imagine a GT500 car in Le Mans? Okay, so is this where we're going to
the number 3 having pretty heavy contact there with the Zensurumo. Now that is where.
So that's where the big lumps of carbon came from.
Well, he's got his own big lumps of carbon hanging out. Now, was that before or after? Now, the Zensurumo is shedding bits of bodywork around the track. Look, he's got his own little spikes sticking out of it as well.
A little bit of sill hanging off there, Sam, as well.
Crucial aero part, that. And as we've got to change of position there, Sven Muller's gone past the Leon. Very neat, tidy move there.
Now, this is bad news for the Hoppy 86. Sven Muller, with 7 laps to go, will be a driven man to try and catch and pass for the GT300 race win. And you can see that gap visibly coming down now.
But will that mean that the Hoppy car holds on? Let's have a look. That's just a slightly overcooked it, the Leon car. Tried to shut the door. Too late.
Yep, Sven Muller. All he needed was half an excuse to get by, and that's all he got. And a brilliant, opportunistic move.
Well done. Well done. That's what he said. But there is number 23, Motul Ortec GTR. controversially, I have to say, relegated to its current position on track.
Yeah, really disappointing, because we can see the two NSXs here. You have to think that Nissan GTR would have been right in the mix if it hadn't have had that controversial, as you say, some drive-through penalty.
I mean, you can watch back on YouTube here on Nismo TV at your leisure that start of this race, and I personally don't think there was a jump start. I couldn't see a jump start of any sort, so I think it was a little bit of a harsh penalty.
I actually thought that the pole-sitting car might get a penalty for just not controlling the pace of the field closely enough. It's the pole man's job to make sure that the grid is in a tight formation, going relatively slowly, and I thought he kind of let the pace go too quickly, and it was a bit of a messy start, but yeah, no intention from Ronnie Quintarelli to jump the start that we could spot.
The gap is definitely now coming down between the 17 and the 100. The Cahin in front, the race leader, with the Raybrick behind. Now here is the battle for GT300's second position. I was about to say third, but it's not going to be. The tyres on the Hoppy 86 are just completely shot.
Yeah, and with the Porsche engine over the rear wheels, gets a lovely drive out of Atwood Corner at turn 4. He's now positioned on the inside. All he's got to do is hang on into the braking area. He's not going to. Should be relatively straightforward. The Hoppy car brakes very late, but Sven Muller up the inside and through into the lead. 5 to go.
This is going to be an interesting final 5. Who will be revealed?
Sorry, he's not into the lead, is he? Because the up garage 86
disappeared off down the road.
Yes.
Yeah, it's about for second. I think the battle is over.
Yep.
Who will be third is more the question. No, you're not first. That's a mistake he made. No, definitely not. There's your second. No, but look at this. This is the battle for the lead now. Now, is it because the Cahin has got this bit of bodywork wedged in the front of it, or is this somebody on the radio saying, no, don't push too hard?
5 laps to go. They certainly wouldn't be thinking about choreographing a nice photo finish just yet.
They have, Honda has space, 7 seconds. That man, the bloke from the southwest, who's wondering who Benson Jutton is and why everybody's talking about them. Hashtag Benson San. Hashtag Benson Jutton. We prefer hashtag OMGTR. Been a while since that one out. Here on Nismo TV, final 5 laps. There's a man with his tongue out. Some people are saying press the like Jutton, kick Nasady. This is Gooper GT, Gooper ST, and Kaiki Hovalainen.
Kaiki Hovalainen.
Hashtag Benson turn. Nismo TV, putting the fun back into motor racing. Like, subscribe, leave us comments, tell us what you really think. Lots of great action coming up through the year here on Nismo TV. We'll be able to bring you some fantastic coverage, some behind the scenes insight, but right now all attention is on a pair of Hondas going around a track in the south of Japan. Cahin NSX followed by the Raybrick 100 NSX. The Cahin NSX has damage on the front. They're excited. He seems less excited. He seems really excited. But I think there's going to be a change of position, and now Rob, is this? Let's see. How is this choreographed?
Preppers around here, don't they?
Surely not.
My grins.
Having Jenson Button in Super GT is brilliant, but choreographing it so he wins his first race where he's doing the full season, I'd be disappointed if they did, Sam. I really would.
Well, I'm not sure they are, because there is damage on that car. In GT300, you can see on the screen, it's settled down for the first time in, well, the entire race, with 3 laps to go.
Yeah.
I think we've seen it before where Super GT turns into the most enormous battle in the final 2 laps. And I think we're shaping up for another one of those battles. I certainly, going into this race, regardless of what the qualifying positions were, I did not expect Honda to be first and second. But in the test that took place earlier this year in March, the Cayenne NSX was fastest, followed by the Raybrick, which is what's panning out on track now.
Yeah, exactly today. I'm glad the weather has been kind. It's been nice to have a race with no interruptions. The Raybrick car makes its way past the excitingly liveried Mercedes. Round through the final sector, running nose to tail. And the gap is down to 4 or 5 car lengths now, Sam.
It's 3 to go. It's down to how much life there is in these tyres. You'll notice certainly on the Raybrick car, the branding on the sidewalls is almost completely faded. Usually a vague idea that the wear is getting to a point where the tyres are beginning to run out a little bit. Not always, it's not a scientific measure, but you can see the tyres are almost completely black on the sidewall there.
Relatively hard circuit on brakes, so the brakes will be working hard, and we see, particularly from the Lexus, lots of brake dust coming off, and of course that coats the sidewall of the tyres as well. Gap just stretching out as they come onto the back straight.
Nice racing here. That Lamborghini nearly got skewered by the extension on the Cayenne NSX, who's just run off the track. Still hasn't managed to lose his spike.
Looked a little more spicy than perhaps it could have done. You know, the race leader was off the road there, coming through traffic, and the Raybrick car behind really pushing hard now. A couple of GT300 cars in the mix here, coming through the last 2 corners. Cayenne car safely makes his way past, coming onto the front straight now.
Final 2 laps here.
Isn't a done deal now.
It's absolutely not. Final 2 laps here at Okayama, here live on Nismo TV. I'm Sam Collins, and I am joined by Bob Raff. And there is damage on the race-leading Cayenne NSX. We're not sure where the damage came from, but there's a large piece of carbon fibre protruding from the front of the car, closing the gap, but it's gone out a little bit now. Just that this is the final lap, actually, with the Raybrick NSX. Is he going to be able to catch up to him? I don't think he's going to be able to do this.
No, I don't. The RCF got in his way ever so slightly through Atwood Corner there, but no, I think this is a done deal. The two Honda NSXs looking very comfortable now as they complete their last half lap here at Okayama.
The driver's going to get a hell of a shock when he gets out of that Cayenne NSX and looks at the front of the car. There's some amount of debris down there on the track as they come out of that corner. That all came off the back of a Lexus. There's the Raybrick number 100 car. There it is, second position. Jenson Button putting in a very average stint in the first half of the race, followed by a superb second stint from the second half of the race. Really made the advantage, but unlucky for 2 of the Nissans at least. And here is the final corner. Cayenne NSX wins the Okayama Super GT race. Round 1 goes to Cayenne. 1-2 for Honda. 3-4 for Lexus. There was nearly a change of position there on the line.
Very close, wasn't it?
Yeah,
very close indeed.
5th position for the new spec Nissan GT-R GT3 and GT300, but here's the battle for, well, not the battle, here is the leader in GT300, the Up Garage GT86.
He's done enough to keep that charging Sven Muller at bay.
Oh, he's long gone.
Yep, still clear air behind him, and despite the D-Station Porsche's best efforts, hardly in sight.
And thanks for tuning in. Don't stop hitting us with your likes and your subscribes at the moment. We need to get more likes up on there, and we told you something good would happen for Nissan, and that was the Gainer car finishing 5th. That was quite good for a race debut. I think there's a lot more to come from that car. Certainly a championship contender as the season goes on. Disappointing also 5th for the Motul Ortec GTR as the GT300 Up Garage 86 crosses the line to winning GT300. Oh, and a bit of bodywork. I think that's the spike has finally come off.
Lots of carbon debris on the track. Lots of carbon debris, and yeah, Up Garage taking the race win by 4.5 seconds from the D-Station Porsche in the end.
That was quite a big margin, and that was all down to the tyres here. There is your race winner. There is your second position car. Stay tuned for the podium. We should be hearing from not only the race winners, which will all be in Japanese. I hope we will be hearing from the English speakers. That includes Jensen Button in second position in the Raybrig NSX. And post-race, later in the week, we'll probably be getting some updates, and you'll probably see that on @Nismo, on the Nissan Nismo Instagram feed as well, and on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, smoke signals, carrier pigeon, and many other forms of communication. Nismo's all over it, Reddit. And we will have updates from the drivers of the time. I'm interested to hear Ronnie Pintarelli's thoughts.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be insightful, I think, insightful.
Fascinating if we hear from the Toyota Prius drivers and the Richard Lyons in the Audi R8 as well. There was that I think was the moment of the race for me, the R8 in a Prius sandwich.
Yeah.
And here we're going to see, and we might hear from Nick Cassidy as well, who trundled home in third position. But I'm just wondering, was there a change of position on the line? I don't think there quite was, but very nearly. Here the cars all line up for their parc fermé. Stay tuned for the podium ceremony, because if you've never watched the Super GT podium, you're in for something you've probably never really experienced before.
It is quite special, and I can't help but think, Sam, where would the red car have been? Without a drive-through penalty, I think it would have been relatively comfortable.
An unfair drive-through penalty, I'm going to stick my neck out and say that. The broadcast is clearly getting a little bit excited, or some of that sparking Starkey's got into the wiring, but we're still going. So stay with us here on Nismo TV. But for now, let's say it's been fantastic for the first race of the season.
Yeah, great to see the cars back out on track.
The more likes and subscribes we get, the better. But the podium ceremonies, I know I was always one of those people. When we first started doing the Super GT thing, back in 2014, I didn't want to cover the podium ceremony. I now really look forward to it.
It's your favourite part, isn't it?
No, I already said my favourite part was two Toyota Priuses bullying an Audi R8. Where else are you going to hear that expression? I wonder if we're going to get any shouty people or chorus girls.
I think we're going to get some carefully choreographed Honda flag waving.
Flag waving?
Ah, flag waving, there you go. Right on cue.
If you're watching on Studio Cam, we've got flags. We've gone for the single flag strategy. If you don't get that one, stay tuned, because it will work you out. And there is the winning GT86. Very good engine in that car.
There you go.
No, very, very good engine. Looks familiar to some other engines. I can't think where I'd seen them before, though.
I really love the livery. It is. It's really retro.
Not today, Buffalo.
I wonder if they'll keep it for the season. Last year they did muck around with the...
Unlikely, sadly, but it's very distinctive, you know, from a commentator's perspective. It's easy.
It's
very easy to spot the car.
Surprise win, I'd have to say.
Yep.
Up Garage taking this victory. Didn't see that one coming in GT300.
Well deserved.
Certainly not what it looked like at the start of the race. And he's broken the door. Yep. And nearly broke the roof as well. All carbon fibre that on the 86s. He looks happy. He definitely looks happy. Look at that. Yeah, I think the driver's just realised there that he's got... Look at that. Now, that has come in off another car, and it's just wedged off the front. He's like, I was driving around with that on my car.
He's been very lucky, very lucky. That looks like it's wedged a long way through the debris fence, and the radiators aren't that far behind.
No, it's gone straight into that. There's a big sort of solid bit of carbon fibre at point. Yeah. It's gone into that. Yeah, that's where you finished. Well done. There'll be some interesting pictures in Autosport Japan, the Japanese magazine this week, covers Super GT fantastically, and I'm really looking forward to seeing close-up pictures of that spike on the NSX.
Okay, I'm here.
MC Malicious Gravy says, I like the podium ceremony so much, have I bought myself an orange jacket? No, I leave that to professionals. I haven't had my orange jacket.
Brilliant idea for a Christmas present, though, so thank you for that.
It's a long time till Christmas.
I'm thinking early Christmas present, and you should do the last race of the championship in the orange jacket.
I think we should do the last race of the championship, and I can be Mr. Orange Jacket.
Oh, I'd pay money for that. That would be great.
Yeah, they pay quite a lot of money for that. If you don't know, again, if you don't know what we're talking about, Mr. Orange Jacket, he turned up at the end of the race. We're going to hear from him again at the end, or in the podium ceremony, when they finds the podium here at Okayama.
放送席放送席
Oh, and here come the interviews with the race leaders.
戦もですね
They are all in Japanese.
なかったという感じ
These
です
two race winners.
ポールトゥフィニッシュポールトゥウィンという形を
So
で
it's just
す
saying
ね
it lights the flag victory for you.
なんですけども
Didn't quite work out like that though, did it?
No, it didn't. It was. They had to work for it.
This is one of those races that doesn't stack up when you look at the results. He says
た
thank
だ
you.
ですね今車の前に何か
Yeah, you have a big spot. Look at that.
Yeah, that's
この状況は把握してましたか
destroyed the front of the car. Very
降りて
lucky.
から気づきました。全然知らなかったです。
He blamed Kazuki.
チームからは何かそのような状況のインフォ
Which is interesting. So maybe just rammed the back of a Honda and
ドライビング集
And
中できる
picked
よう
up,
に
as you said, a
Lexus and
a strake off the rear diffuser.
後ろから来てたので
Robot Wars. Robot Wars has been cancelled. Our producer Cloud at Sunset. It's like Robot Wars. It is like Robot Wars. Robot Wars has been cancelled
という
for
ことでは特に
ridiculous
そのドライ
reasons.
ビングには影響なかったということですけどもいや同じその
British TV series. I think if you're in the States, it was called Battle Box.
インフォメーションあった
But that's irrelevant. But it does look like a weapon, doesn't it, on the front of the
全
car?
然見てなくて、まあとにかく自分たち
He
の
looks genuinely relieved.
He does. He really does. And he looks really good.
Yeah.
今です
いい
ね
ですか
金士監督来ましたそして国連選手が国連選手抱きつくのかと思ったら
Oh yeah, this is the thing. That was the team out there of drive. I was wondering if this is a very long interview. For the bit. By the way, this is not the podium ceremony
おめでとうございます
in Super GT.
なんかねもうモニター見るのもドキドキするしこんなに優勝
ゴール
嬉しいんだって改めて本当なんていうかレースってすごいなっていうか素晴らしいなと思いました本当に
Respect
い
the
や我
athlete.
々はですね国連選手ここに来てくれないんじゃないかなとドキドキしましたけど
いやいやもう
Yeah, so
はい
haven't got caps all the way around, have they?
ちょっと
They're still missing a Bridgestone cap. Oh no, they've both got
ちょ
them
っ
now.
と喜びを本当にかみしめてましたはい
そして金士監督おめでとうございましたでは最後までですねちょっと心配なことありましたけど一言お願いします
Keihin Real Racing.
本当に去年からの
Kanishi
苦労してみんな
saying he's happy as well.
戦いがここで勝ててなくて実を
Good
結んでよかった
question just came in.
おめでとうございました
How many layers
以上
of
です
peel off do these cars have on the wing?
Depends how long your race is.
I don't think they have any on these cars.
Yeah,
I've
they
seen
do.
it. But did you see it peeling?
Yeah, I
Oh,
saw
there you
peeling
go.
at the pit stop. These guys will normally run 2 peel-offs, so they'd have 2 opportunities to take off a layer of, and it's like a thick protective film. It's optically perfect or thereabouts, so your vision isn't that
放送席放送席
isn't that
そして
affected.
こ
But
ちら
no.
3番クラス
For
ですね
24-hour
開幕
races,
しま
we'll
した18号車アップガレージ
we run kind of 5 or
86MC
six.
Well, that question came from Tom Tortoise. And here is the Up Garage team.
いや良かったですこのチームに移籍してやっぱり
Looks a lot taller than Kamui, actually.
He does, he does.
優勝
The picture was
するっていうのは当然
flattering.
期待して呼んでいただいてるんで
He
それでちょっと昨日
seems
の
quite
予選
happy,
は
quite sweaty too.
悪い
He's
結果
got a
になっ
nice
ちゃ
new
った
hat
んで
with a badge on.
Has he got one of those I've been to the dentist badges?
I think he has. Yeah, that's exactly.
I've been a good boy.
本当良かったですし本当
Yeah, yes, it is. He's got a little tooth on it.
Or is it I'm 32 today, or
I think maybe Yokohama's 70 today or something.
あったかなと思うんであとはもうチャンピオン狙って
Other good things that come out of Yokohama as well as Yokohama tyres are Nismo.
様子を伺って
Here we go.
500を使って見事のオーバーテイクされたことで
Nismo TV
おめで
is
とうございます
はいありがとう
is
ござい
here
ます
with you through. Well, we've been here for a very long time, haven't we? I know when Nismo TV
アッ
started
プ
a long
ガレ
time
ー
ago.
ジ
20.
86MC ね乗って3シーズン目になりますけ
Should
ど
know because it's on the
4
YouTube
シーズン
account.
目になりますけどやっと掴みまし
Nismo
たね
TV, hit like and subscribe. Stay tuned for the podium ceremonies. This is not the podium ceremony. This is just the
本当に
quick interview with the excitable girl.
ありがとうございます
She said thank you.
監督やっとの優勝です
本当4シーズン目やっと本当に今まで
he's saying that, yeah, we were nowhere in pre-season testing. We were like P17 and now look.
いろいろ変えてですね
They do have a new technical partner with that.
横浜タイムさんも大変
Nissan is not done for today in racing, though. There is the Blancpain GT Series race at Zolder later today. There's Formula E coming up later in the season, of course. We're going to have a lot about that. Blancpain GT, the endurance series, the big one. We're going to have a lot through that. British GT with the 2 RDN cars. Super Taikyu, which Nissan is leading. They'll see the IMSA series, which Nissan has done very well. And this isn't the end of the broadcast. They're just looking for the podium or assembling it. I can't remember where it is in a car.
You said it was going to snow. It was certainly chilly, you know. We saw cars looking for tyre temperature all the way practically to the checkered flag, Sam.
And there is your race result. Keihin NSX GT winning the race from the Raybrick NSX, driven by Yamamoto and Jensen Button. Keeper Tom's LC500, the last year's champions, in third. And you can see the rest. First of the Nissans in fifth position, the Motor Lawtech GTR, 36 seconds off. Now, had he not got that penalty, drive-through penalty, that, you know, the Motor Lawtech, completely unfair penalty. The 24 Forum Engineering Advan GTR was 48 seconds off in sixth position. And the Craft Sports, driven by a new team for the Super GT season, was just over a minute off the lead in seventh. Now, that drive-through penalty was, I'm completely against, so that wasn't great. Terrible race for the number 15 for the 64 car, the Epson NSX GT, driven by Bertie Baguette and Matsura-san. I don't know why that car was so slow. We didn't really see much of it, other than it being lapped. In GT300, as you've just seen, the Up Garage GT86 was the overall victor from the D-Station Porsche. The Hoppy GT86 managed to cling on for third position ahead of the Leon AMG GT. First of the new specification Nissan GTR GT3s was the Gainer Tanax number 11 car, driven by Hironaka and Yasuda. They were a lap down on the timing and scoring, but in reality that's not a reflection of how the car performed on track. I think you'll see a lot more from that as the season progresses. Put them down as a championship contender. And here we see some of the very long and large amount of GT300 cars. Number 30 Prius finishing ahead of the number 31, because the number 31 didn't finish, I think, because it got beaten up indirectly by the number 30 and an Audi R8.
And yeah, I'm just thinking about it now, Sam, a race with very, very few retirements. You know, for a relatively tight technical... who started the car number 35, by the way?
The tyre driver. What's his name?
I don't know. Oh, I do, I just can't pronounce it.
Has to be in a slightly smaller font to all of the other drivers for the length of name. Coming up, the podium ceremony and some race highlights. I hopefully involve some Priuses. There is the championship positions. The 17 driver, of course, on top. 21 points on the board. 15, 11, 8, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. As you can probably imagine, one race in. And, of course, I was hoping that we'd get some English language interviews. Unfortunately, just stuck with my translations, which aren't... They're reasonably accurate.
Based upon experience of what team managers and drivers say to the press.
My Japanese. And my Japanese ability. I write for a Japanese magazine, of course. I have very good Japanese skills. You saw the GT300 points there. If you're wondering why it was 21 points for the car that won the race, the Keihin, it's because it got fastest lap as well. And the witches' brooms are out there sweeping up the circuit, as you see in Japan. Race isn't done. We still haven't found the podium as yet. The drivers are out there looking for it. So do stay tuned for this podium ceremony, which is taking a very long time. Yeah, this is the longest time. Oh, look, we've gone screen in screen. There you go. Joe's pressing buttons. He's waiting for the podium too.
Yeah, just going back to what we were saying about the number of retirements, considering the nature of the circuit, really tight, really twisty, 11 corners in total, most of the medium speed and hairpins, not much contact and hardly any retirements.
Yeah, exactly, and it's just good, clean racing, and that's what sums up a lot of Japanese racing. Not so clean on track, of course. You can see a bit of the damage there. It was really the GT500 guys who got a bit dirty later on.
Yeah.
We saw the damage to the Zent car. There's the number 100.
Yeah,
almost getting damaged on its own. They don't really want to hang on a rear wing like that so much, but oh well. Big wheel. And, well, they're still looking for the podium at Okayama. It's obviously well hidden. So the first thing drivers have to do once they've won the race is then play the Hunt the Podium. And whoever gets there first gets to open the champagne. Darian Quinn asks a very good question. When will we go see Super Taikyu races streamed on Nismo TV? The answer to that is you won't, because Super Taikyu races are streamed anyway. And here is the second position team. I thought we were going to get this interview, and I was filling time till that. There's a man from the southwest of England. He's not. Naoki Yamamoto, who put in a fantastic second stint, actually.
Yamamoto lives in Yeovil?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, him and Chris Medlin go to all the matches together. He's saying the Honda works really well.
喜ばしいことだと思いますし、去年の本当に悔しい思いがみんな持って1年間ここまで頑張ってきたんで。
Oh, and he's planning to drive some mini motos on the way home. It's a bit surprising, yeah.
タイヤを最後まで持ったんでしょうか。
結構きつかったですね。僕たちノー交換を選択したんで、もう最後ちょっとずるず
Yeah,
る
he's
でし
just
たし。
talking about how a moment he was battling with one of the other drivers in the lead car.
ない中でレースは戦ってるので、それはもう言い訳でしかない。
He's putting a brave face on not winning, but I think he didn't expect to perform so well as the race progressed.
頑張りたいなと思います。
優勝は次まで残しておきましょう。
Shall I translate this one?
ですね、ジェンソン・バトン選手ですね、そのフルシーズン参戦のその初戦で。
Jenson Button, it's your first full season of racing here in Super GT.
First of all, really sorry about that. We supported that you're struggling at the very beginning of the race, but you're keeping the tire.
Yeah, the first lap was a mess because of the new start procedure. So there were cars everywhere, and it was a bit of a mess. And the 8 car was really struggling for tires, and I struggled to get past him. But anyway, it was a fun first stint of the race, and the pace was actually good once we got going. And then I obviously handed over to Naoki, who did an amazing job, and definitely the driver of the day here today. So no, it's great to get a podium here. First race of the season, and it's actually my first podium for 5 years. 6 years. 6 years. So thank you.
Is there any secret things, the F1 technique of the keeping tire?
Yeah, but for me, the difficult part was the first 2 laps. And after that, then I could get into a rhythm with the car, and the car was good. I mean, it was enjoyable to drive. And it's great to see Honda quick at the first race. You know, it's really important for the whole season. Now we've got ballast, we see how it goes, but the important thing is to enjoy this moment and this great result.
Next race is the top of the podium.
Of course.
Thank you. 本当にですね、
also it was said by the Kagan team was that they were actually quite happy with doing well, but the GT300 podium started. They found the podium and got going with it. That's what the shouting in the background was all about. And the winners are on the podium. They're shouting. Mr. Orange Jacket's there. They're really falling behind schedule. I'm just going to talk over this guy because he's rambling. And there's the Hoppy team. They are lucky to be on the podium, I think, number 25.
Yeah. Nice to see them up there, though. You know, they were in the mix all day, but clearly struggled towards the end of their stints. Good to hear from Jenson Button. Nice to hear his thoughts. And
he was actually quite interesting, wasn't he? Unlike most of the drivers in these interviews. And here come the girls. These are very small trophies.
驚きなのがですね、英断だったその無交換タイヤ無交換のですね、作戦。
Winners trophy. Well done. Well done, he says. Here's another very small trophy. Oh, they're all talking over each other at the moment. But yeah, there you go. Mr. Orange Jacket's happy about that. Here comes some even smaller trophies.
I'm already thinking, I think the trophies will be for 3rd.
Yeah, it has to come, you know, you can lift it with one little finger. It's a small trophy. That's what you get for the arrive and drive car. Look at those. That is literally what you get for an arrive and drive car.
Like a paperweight.
Yeah. And as long as it's not too breezy. That is a very, very small. You can't even get your fingers around it. Oh, shouty girls are off.
And controversially, Sam, no flags at all.
No flags, yeah. It's a flag-free zone there. Thought we might have some poppy flags.
I was going to bring the flags on for like a bit of a retrospective flag-waving session at the end.
We've got the 80s hero music going in the background. Oh, she's got...
Well, it's a plate. It's a large octagonal.
It's an octagon. With Okayama International Circuit written on it. Well done. Have my octagon.
Is it an octagon or a hexagon?
Is it hex? I was trying to count the size. That's why I paused. Yeah, it's hex. Yeah, 6-sided, not 8. Well, trip of that one.
Hey, look at this! Golf clubs! Amazing! Golf clubs, ladies and gentlemen.
This is the best prize ever!
It's not a barrel of rice. It's not wood. It's a set of clubs. And the crowd go wild.
But only one set. It's a 2-driver race. Do they have to share them? Then?
No, he's just going to give them straight to his dad. He's going to be, oh, my dad's going to be delighted.
We win golf clubs. That is spectacular. Assetto Drifter S15. Oh, there's more of this to come. Oh yeah. Oh, this is gonna look. It's gonna be the trophy.
Ladies and gentlemen, what could possibly go wrong?
That's a spectacular. That's up there with bucket of fish heads. Here, you've won a motor race. Have some golf clubs. Is that an invitation to retire? And also, why only one set of golf clubs?
I love the way they built up to the massive golf clubs by very small. And here's the real trophy.
No, I think that's the Autobex trophy. Mr. Orange Jacket gives that one away.
Disappointingly